It is the 21st of October, and I'm doing a self-administered proficiency check departing Hampton Roads Executive Airport. Hampton Roads traffic, experimental jet 554 Romeo Charlie, departing runway 28. We'll be climbing overhead the field, 6,000 and above Hampton Roads. First flight of the day engine run-up is already complete. Before takeoff checklist is complete. Runway's clear, runway 28 verified. Pressure, temperature, airspeed's alive. Engine looks good. 95, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. .140 flaps up. .180 knots, first airspeed for the turnout. Power's coming to 103. Hampton Roads traffic, experimental jet 554 Romeo Charlie circling overhead the field, passing through 1,200 feet for 6,000 or above Hampton Roads. Aircraft's clean. Climbing to 6,500 feet. The first maneuver will be a steep turn at 180 knots. We'll bug our heading. Due west.
John's traffic 2 Bravo Lima 4 mile final localizer 3 low approach. John.
There's 6,500 feet. There's 180 knots. We'll get stable. We're on a heading of west. And we'll start the maneuver. 30 degrees angle of bank. 45 degrees angle of bank. We do these maneuvers at 45 degrees angle of bank. As per the ACS, I like them to have an inside scan. Use the tools available to them. We have the flight path vector there. We put that right on the horizon. It'll keep the VSI perfectly at 0. We're coming up on east. There it is, rolling out. Right on east, and we're rolling into the opposite direction. We're clear right. And we're going right. Airspeed or altitude was within about 40 feet. Airspeed, a couple knots there. We'll squeak a little bit of power off. We'll make a little bit of correction for the altitude. Right at 6,500. Airspeed's looking good at 180. Add a little power to catch. Maybe 20-foot deviations on the altitude, well within the ACS. We're coming up back on our reference heading. A little bit of power to catch that speed deviation, and there's west. And we're right back where we started. We're going to go right into slow flight. Idle speed brakes are out. We're going to reference 6,500 feet. This will be a clean stall on a heading of west. Area is clear. We just performed our clearing turns. will recover at the first indication of a stall. For this aircraft, it'll be buffet. AOA starting to increase. Speed brakes are back in. This airplane stalls right around 99, clean. Holding our altitude, there's 100 knots. There's 101, 99, 98. Recover, full power, speed brakes in, brake the AOA. Watch for the secondary stall.
10 Bay Bird, traffic 3 Hotel Quebec, we're 9 miles down.
Gently start feeding the nose up.
For left downwind for 29 Bay Bird.
There's a positive rate, maneuver's complete. We lost about 250 feet. Below 180, gears coming down. Below 170, flaps are full. It's set 85% power, which is the normal final approach speed for this particular airplane. I'm going to pitch for 115 knots, which we have right there. It's going to give us about 800 feet VSI. We're then going to roll into a 30-degree angle of bank turn. This is simulating an approach turn stall. So our power set, aircraft's configured, landing checklist complete. We'll get 30 degrees, and now we'll simply level the aircraft. The airplane will stall. So we're going to hold that 30 degrees angle of bank. Whatever altitude we have, that's what we got. 30 degrees angle of bank, and the airplane will stall at about 87 or so, maybe 85. '94, '93, 90, recover, full power, speed brakes in, flaps 25, brake the AOA. Gently feed in the nose, watching for that secondary stall. Waiting for the positive rate. There's positive rate, gear up. Once I have that positive rate, I like to brake the AOA, the climb angle a little bit more because I want to get right to 140 as soon as I can, just maintaining that positive climb. There's 140. Flaps are in, maneuver's complete. We're 6,500 feet, minimal altitude loss there. We're going to do a quick unusual attitude. It'll be unusual attitude, nose high. There it is. This is where I'd say recover, full power, speed brakes in. I'm going to roll onto the left side, feed in a little bit of bottom rudder. The nose is going to slice down. The wings now flying, level the aircraft, and pull. Recovering to the horizon. Maneuver's complete with a positive rate. Speed, we have a simulated engine failure. I'm going to set the speed brakes out, power to 73%, which is my zero power thrust setting for this particular airplane. I'm going to pitch to 135 knots, which is best glide, and I'm going to land this airplane with, and I'm not going to touch the power till we touch down. Hampton Roads traffic, experimental jet 554, Romeo Charlie, overhead the field 6,000 feet, simulated engine failure. We'll be spiraling down, left hand up spiral to runway 28 for touch and go, Hampton Roads.
Josh traffic time, man.
So we've got the airfield, it's only about 3 miles away. We're at 6,800 feet. We've got plenty of altitude to make high key. We're pitching for 135 to 140, which is best glide. And we're now going through our procedures. So we can assess what's wrong with the engine. Was it, why did it fail on us? What's our N1? We're going to simulate that it's 0. So we have a frozen core. So we're not going to try to relight it. At this point, we can go through the engine securing checklist, which will simulate that that is complete. We'll now, assuming we have radios, we'll talk to the guys on the ground. I know they're at the FBO desk. I'll tell them, hey, I'm an emergency aircraft. You know, help me clear on the runway, make sure nobody's going out there. Might have emergency equipment on standby if it's available. We don't have any here, but depending on the damage of the aircraft, if I needed it, they could coordinate that for me from Norfolk, which is close by. And then I'm worried about making the best profile I can. I've got plenty of altitude. I'm 5,500 feet. I want to be at high key at 3,000 feet, which I don't see a problem in making that. And then it's just going to be a spiral approach, hitting all our checkpoints, touching down in the first third of the runway. This maneuver will terminate with a touch and go, and then it'll be a normal landing to a full stop after that. Hampton Roads traffic, experimental jet 554, Romeo Charlie, directly overhead the field, 5,000 feet. We'll be spiraling down left traffic, simulated engine failure, runway 28 for a touch and go. I'm looking really good here, so I'm actually going to increase my descent because I do not want to be high at my high key. I want to be right on my numbers. So I'm going to accept being a little bit fast. That airspeed will bleed off.
Johnson traffic 406 Bravo Lima.
Turning into high key.
RNF 21 circle.
Pull up a little map here so we have SA of it. 1,000 feet to go to make on my high key. This is looking good. A little bit fast on the airspeed, but that's totally fine. All right, here we are, approaching. We'll zoom in so we can see it on the map. There's high key, 300 feet high, about 30 knots fast, not a big deal. I'll take that all day long. We're now going to maneuver to the low key. Here we go, we're crossing the runway center line, below gear speed, gear comes down, and I'm visualizing where that low key is, 2,000 feet AGL, 135 knots. Looking outside, taking wind into account, that's going to affect whether my low key is close or a little bit further away. And I want 2,000 feet at low key. Everything's looking pretty good here, airspeed's starting to come down. Hampton Roads traffic, Experimental Jet 554 Romeo Charlie on a high left downwind 28, simulated engine failure for the touch and go. All right, looking really good here. Now I can play the altitude airspeed game. I want to be right at 2,000 feet so I can shallow that rate of descent, scrub off the extra 10 knots. And there's my low key. I'm really happy with that. Just about 5 knots fast and on altitude. Now that I know I have the runway made and I feel high, which I do feel high right here, I'll go flaps full. Below flap speed, flaps are full. At this point, I'm committed to landing the airplane. I can certainly shove the nose over as needed, and I'm just going to manage this turn. Hampton Roads traffic, Experimental Jet 554 Romeo Charlie, base to final 28 for the touch and go, Hampton Roads. We can really get steep here, and the airplane really won't accelerate on us because we have those flaps to full, which is a beautiful thing. Rolling out on final, looking for that first third of the runway.
Hampton Roads, citation 368 Hotel Sierra, taxiing 271.
We can now slow to no less than 120 on final, which is totally fine. Landing checklist is complete, verified, complete. She's going to float a little bit because we're not going to touch that power. And there it is, maneuver's complete, full power, speed brakes in, flaps 25. Looking for airspeed, looking for N1, and we rotate. Positive rate gear up. 140 flaps up. Power 103. First turnout speed, waiting for 180. Hampton Roads traffic, Experimental Jet 554 Romeo Charlie, left crosswind for runway, for the downwind, left traffic, full stop 28, Hampton Roads. Next maneuver will be a full stop normal landing. There's 1,500 feet on the downwind. Hampton Roads traffic, Experimental Jet, left downwind 28. Below gear speed, here comes gear. Starting to come down. Up to 25. No less than 70% power. Hampton Roads traffic, Experimental Jet, left base, runway 28, full stop, Hampton Roads. I like about 140 on the base leg. Starting to come in, flaps full, turn and final. Hampton Roads traffic, Experimental Jet, final 28, full stop. That's my power limit right there. I have do fly a high pattern, which I tend to like. Runway's made, idle. Landing checklist complete. Bird. Stick forward. A little bit of brakes. Center line between the main gear. Nominal rollout. Clear left, coming left.
After traffic citation. After traffic citation 368 Hotel Sierra. Taxiing for runway 28, crossing runway 2.
Clean up the airplane, go through the post-landing checklist, back to park. Cameras are coming off.